You ever have a year so insane that it changes everything?
25 years of uninterrupted crazy.
1986 was that year for Metallica. They dropped Master of Puppets. No singles, no videos, just tour. City after city. They opened for Ozzy. They played to thousands. Then the bus crashed, Cliff Burton died, and nothing was ever the same. This wasn't just a tour. This was survival. So let's hit the road, because this is Damage Incorporated. So here's how it all started. Master of Puppets drops in March. It's 8 tracks, no filler. Metallica hits the road. First stop, opening for the great Ozzy Osbourne.
Metallica toured for 6 months with Ozzy Osbourne. It would be their last as a supporting act.
They really give me a run for my money every night. The crowd were going nuts for him, you know, stealing the show most of the nights. They were really hard to follow.
And can you imagine that show? I can because I was there. But Ozzy on stage with 4 thrash kids melting the crowd before him. Metallica played Sabbath riffs during their Soundchecks. Fans went nuts. Ozzy? Well, not so much. He thought that they were mocking him. But they weren't. They weren't.
You know, Ozzy said a couple times we would be up on stage at Soundchecks playing some Black Sabbath songs, and he's been known to say that he thought that we were taunting him, and we were kind of sort of making fun of him. We were up on stage playing Black Sabbath songs because we wanted him to come up and sing with us. That was like our big dream.
They were just being Metallica. They were young. They were kids. Once they headlined, they brought Anthrax. They brought Metal Church. They brought other thrash allies. But this was the big 4 before it even had a name.
Whoever dares come out here and play Anthrax, Megadeth, Slayer, Metallica, members of Exodus. Yeah! All right, look, everyone.
Now here's where it gets ugly. Skateboards, booze, broken bones. Hetfield wrecked his wrist mid-tour skating. They called themselves Alcoholica. They came up with the name. It fit.
On the road, Metallica's unabashed love of alcohol became the stuff of legend. So much so, the press took to calling them
Alcoholica.
Alcoholica.
Alcoholica justified, absolutely.
Then came Sweden, September 27th. It's the middle of the night.
Talk about the original bass player that died in the band.
Actually, it's 10 years ago, in about 4 weeks.
You guys were in the bus fighting over who gets to sit in the front of the bus. Do I have that right?
Yeah, ish. It was
This is one of those
Kirk,
weird,
him and Kirk were drawing straws about who was going to sleep in a specific bunk.
Tour bus crashes. Cliff Burton is thrown from his bunk. The bus lands on him. He's gone. Just like that. 24 years old. Everyone was devastated, especially them. But Metallica didn't stop. Jason Newsted came in fast.
Right. Hello, friends. Fuck. So, you guys in a pretty good mood tonight? Me too. I feel great tonight, man. I feel a lot better than last night.
The tour kept rolling. And how do you keep playing after that? How do you scream lyrics such as "through that kind of pain"? But they found a way, and every show got heavier. Not louder, heavier.
So let it be written. So let it be done. I'm set apart and chosen one.
So were you at one of these shows? Did you feel the shift? The grief behind the riffs? Have you ever seen a band right before they explode? Because that's what this was. It was raw power, unfiltered rage, and heartbreak in the air. This wasn't just a tour. This was their turning point. From underground kings to future icons, Damage Incorporated laid the tracks for And Justice for All, and eventually the Black Album. Those were just eras. Eras.
The great John F. Kennedy.
But Cliff's loss, that never faded. Every time they play Orion, he's still there. In the bass, in the silence, in the crowd's roar right after. So tell me, A, were you there? B, what tour shaped your life? Do me a favor, drop your story in the comments. I'm Fred Carroll. This was your metal tour guide on Headbangers History for Left Eye Lazy Media, where every riff tells a story.
Let's talk about Ozzy and the impact he's had on this band. When you guys, I think it was, I guess Master of Puppets after that. I mean, and you guys weren't a big commercial success like you are now. Ozzy was the guy who said, hey, come on tour with me, right? I'm going to introduce you guys to America and a bigger audience. You must have thought you died and went to heaven, right? This was a huge break.
Ozzy at that time, when his solo career was really going, was known to bring out bands that were kind of on the verge of breaking. The time before he took us out, he took Motley Crue out and did a whole U.S. tour with Motley Crue, and that also elevated them to the level they eventually landed at. And with us, it was our turn in '86. We had a new album, Master of Puppets. Ozzy and obviously Sharon has a lot to speak for in this also, but they were kind enough to take us out and give us that shot, and we were out and 5 years earlier, James and I were meeting and talking and sitting there and trying to figure out what we're doing. And now we were out playing arenas in America. You know, we opened with Battery and then I think went into Master Puppets. And, you know, first couple songs are kind of looking up and going, what is this racket? And then 45 minutes later, they were all, you know, doing their fists and getting into it and kind of understanding, you know, what we were doing. And it was such a transformative time. And it was our first go around in the big leagues, and hanging with Ozzy and being around that A-level energy and that sort of A-league. Like we were in the majors. You know, we'd been playing in the minors for years, and now we were in the majors. And you know, there's a lot of stories that have gone around, and some of them have turned into tall tales. And you know, Ozzy said a couple times we would be up on stage at Soundchecks playing some Black Sabbath songs, and he's been known to say that he thought that we were taunting him, and we were kind of sort of making fun of him. We were up on stage playing Black Sabbath songs because we wanted him to come up and sing with us. That was like our big dream. It's like we would be up there playing like Hole in the Sky or Symptom of the Universe or any of these things, and it was like, where's Ozzy? Is he can hear us in his dressing room. Somebody go get Ozzy. And then Ozzy's side of the story is he's down in his dressing room going, these guys are taking the piss, or they thought we were making fun of him, and we were just trying to get our hero to come up on stage and sing with us.
Here you are with Ozzy. Listen to this, James. Look. There you are. Thrilling, right?